Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I've got the System 11 MPU out of a Earthshaker, and what I'm going to do is replace what was a remote. They had a remote AAA battery holder. They had it actually sitting above the board, not the best place. It ought to be sitting down below it. But anyway, I'm getting rid of that AAA holder, and I'm going to put in a coin cell battery holder here. The board looks pretty decent. I mean, there's no corrosion on any of the traces, at least on the front. We'll see on the back. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out all these little terminals where the old original AAA holder was. So I'm going to do that. We'll get rid of that first. Got this board flipped over. Here's where the battery's at. I'm going to desolder and remove those 6 little terminals. And just as a kind of a preventative measure, I always want to look and check out for cold solder joints, especially these .156 header pins, and they all look actually pretty good. There was one set of them, this set up here, somebody has already reflowed the solder on them. I'm assuming those were not looking good, but somebody's already gone through them. And I've looked at all the rest of them on the board. Actually, that one there, if I can find it with my finger. Yeah, some of these almost look like they've. I may suck the solder off there and redo these, because those things are not looking great. Actually, now that I look at them closely under the magnifier, so I'll resuck the solder and resolder those, and the rest of them look good. Anyway, so I'm going to hand off the phone to Jane. She's going to hold it, and everybody's nagging at me to show my soldering work, so here you go. Some of them didn't fall out. I think I'll get some alcohol and a toothbrush and just clean that up a little bit, maybe. Grab the alcohol somewhere.
For y'all listening, he pays me triple just to hold the camera.
Triple nothing. So if you're wondering which one's a positive, which one's a negative, they're all labeled positive and all labeled negative, but they're wired together in series. So if you look on the back, it becomes more clear. So this is the positive one. It's got the diode so that the board can't charge these these alkaline batteries, and this is the negative one that's going out. And the other way you can check it real quick, I don't have my multimeter right here, but measure continuity between this point here and this point here, and you're going to measure, you're going to see that, oh, you can just see the trace. Are you recording?
I'm recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can just see the trace, follow the trace, it goes right over there. So that's definitely the ground. And almost always the diagonal one is going to be the positive. It's a good idea to check that diode, make sure that diode is in good shape. So I'm going to have to get my multimeter anyway. Because if that diode is not working, then the board will try to charge your battery and it will fry that battery, especially a coin cell, because it's putting out, board's putting out 5 volts, and the coin cells are only 3.5. Oops, I'm going backwards. Yeah, 0.642. I meant to measure it, make sure it won't go backwards. That's the most important part. Okay, so that's good. So I've got my coin cell. I know on the positive side there, and fortunately, look at that, it lays right in there. It covers up. Maybe I ever want to work on that again, so maybe I won't do that. I'll probably just drill a hole and go right there. Of course, we're going to put it on the other side, but still. You could almost do that. I hate to get it that close. It's kind of on top of that chip. So I'm going to just scratch here where I know where to drill. So I basically scratched a little radius. And just make sure you don't scratch through one of those traces. And I came closer than I should have. I didn't scratch it, but I'm a millimeter or two away. That's a little closer than I should have gotten. But I'm fine. So anyway, I'm going to drill a hole right through there, and that'll be good. So you can go ahead and pause and we can drill. I'm just looking at that arc. If I go all the way to about where my finger is, you can see the trace on the other side, so I'll have something better to solder into. So that will be, and then I can just connect a wire from here to the ground, and that'll make things a little bit neater. Otherwise, I won't have a pad to solder on the other side. So I'm going to try to drill right there. Just double check that I'm not going through anything important. And make sure your polarity on your holder's good. So that's my positive, and that's going to positive. So just flip it over and solder it in place. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to just scratch this. Scratch the mask off of this one here. So again, I've got essentially a pad to solder to. Okay, so now there's one last thing I've got from positive to negative. So this line here is all the negative voltage, but I need to do the negative voltage over here. I can do a couple of things. Really, I only have to go from here to there. So that's one thing. I just do a blob of solder across that. I might just do that. Or I could just put a jumper between here and here.
Recording.
And then last but not least, put in the battery. And we can measure and check that we've got some voltage. So I'm going to measure right here and I'll put it on the right polarity. Oh, AC. That's the problem. Had the meter on AC, not DC. Yeah, so we got their 3 volts. 3.3 coming from the battery, 3 volts after the diode, because you always have that drop. So it's good to go. So that should forestall any future corrosion of this board, and it's in pretty good shape for what would be, I don't know, Earthshaker 85, 86, something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.